Hey guys, this is a super thanks video. If you want to be in next week's video, you can hit the super thanks button below this video or any of my videos. You can ask me about any of the series I'm currently following on the channel. I'm also going to be going into spoilers for any series I'm going to be talking about. Ambrosia453 asks, "What's up, brother? I've been thinking that Meteoric Burst Boros in his monster form. Similar how Hellfire and Gale have normal and monster form. Kind of makes sense if God actually got his hands on him. He could be his early blast experiment. Any thoughts?" So yes, I agree with this. I do think that God has something to do with Boros for sure, and it's very likely has something to do with the way that he's able to transform, because I think that Boros is straight up a monster the way that we see them on Earth. Talked about this many times before, but this video will be different because I actually have more stuff to go into. So not only Meteoric Burst, but I also think like his released form, like his dark blue form, is also the equivalent of monsterizing or transforming into a monster. The way that you equated it to like Hellfire and Gale, because we saw that one of Blast's teammates is also from Boros' race, and he looks like Boros does at his base form. So I'm assuming that monsterization possibly starts like once his armor comes off and he goes to that blue form. Now, again, it's possible that Boros' teammate could do that too, but it just seems like it's more so monsterization, you know? At the minimum, Meteoric Burst is for sure the monsterization form. And another thing that really makes me think that this is God influencing Boros by, I don't know, turning him into a monster and leading him to Earth to go take out Blast, allegedly, is the fourth form of Boros that unfortunately never made it to the manga, but we did get to see a draft of it. Now, before I go into the backstory of Boros' secret fourth form, let me just say that Boros was originally able to like keep evolving and transforming. Like after Meteoric Burst wasn't enough, and Boros started to like transform again. And he looks similar to Meteoric Burst in this form, but he actually kind of looks like what it looks like when he's firing off the collapsing star roaring cannon. But he more so looks like if Meteoric Burst ate like a monster cell or something, right? And that makes me think that, oh, that's because he probably is monsterizing. Because we saw that Garo could do that as well. You know, he starts off at a certain point and then he can just keep transforming, keep evolving, keep getting more monstrous. So I'm assuming that Boros is going through something similar here, or he was. Now, another little fun thing about the possible connection between God and Boros is that when Saitama first gets onto Boros' ship and he starts walking through it, the floor looks like God's flesh. I mean, look at it. That's pretty fascinating, right? Now, I'm not saying that this like guarantees 100% proves that there's a connection between them. And it could be that this is just like a design that Murata likes to use and it's just recurring. Or it could be like one told Murata like, hey, make the floor look like this because I want to subtly imply that God is responsible for not only Boros' power, but also possibly even the ship and the technology that he has. But as for Boros' secret fourth form, like I said, this was a draft that I think was supposed to be in like chapter 32 or 33 or something, but it wound up never being published. Not even like enough for a retcon. It just didn't make it that far. But we knew that this was a thing because it was included in One Bakuro 2, which is like this behind the scenes supplementary book made by One and Murata, like detailing the creation of the One Punch Man manga. And it included like rough drafts and sequences that didn't make it to the final product. And one of them is Boros' fourth form. And yeah, this thing looks really cool, but I understand why they didn't go that far, because going to Meteoric Burst was enough at that point. I don't really think you needed to push it any further, especially because the villains that come after him always have the potential to do that anyway. Funk Suede asks, thoughts on what they might not keep in the anime for later seasons, such as unnecessary fight scenes or Sairochi's appearance. This is in relation to One Punch Man Season 3, but they're talking about like what might be removed like in Season 4 or 5. And to be honest, I don't think much. They kind of need to keep everything as it is so that they get enough material to adapt it to like 12 episodes or something very smoothly, the way that like Bleach 1000 Year Blood War has been. And as for Sairochi's appearance, I think it'll be fine. As long as they don't make her anatomically correct, which she's not in the manga anyway. As long as they just keep her non-detailed, I think it'll be fine. We see that design of a woman in anime all the time. So I think it'll be okay. Big Footage 4869 asks, Merry Christmas, Z-Man. Literally watch every video, even for the series I don't otherwise keep up with. And I've been a patron since the early days. Hey, thank you so much, Big Footage. I really appreciate the long time support and the kind words and the super thanks. So thank you. Thoughts on Berserk? I get get that it's not something you could cover on this channel, but curious if you ever read it. So I haven't read Berserk yet, and I am interested in reading it for sure. And to be honest, I really would like to read it in 2023 and then do a review for it, and then possibly even cover the chapters as they're released. But it really depends on what other series I also plan on going into next year. But Berserk is for sure in like the top of the list, like in the top 3 series that I really want to get into or read or do just a review on. 50 Quarters asks, I know you said One Punch Man possibly isn't connected, but the recent chapter of Versus makes things a whole lot more interesting. With worlds and dimensions coming together is a cool idea for a story. Do you think one is trying to make a huge plot line where the one true enemy that is creating chaos across all the worlds is God? So that would be really cool, don't get me wrong. And it's also very possible in Versus because, you know, in the second chapter it established that it's pretty much the multiverse of madness, right? How there's not just 2 worlds, but there's many that are all converging into one. And if you wanted to, you could make it make sense by this is just God doing it, because he's technically doing that in the One Punch Man world anyway, right? Or at least I think he is. Going to like various planets and basically infecting them with like monsterization the way that he has with Earth. So that very likely could be the true plot of Versus because of the way that it's set up, but I just don't think it is. I don't think one wants to do that, to be honest. But I wouldn't be mad if it ultimately was the premise of it. It would be a shock for sure, and it would go viral. David Sheremy 7033 asks, hope you had a Merry Christmas, my guy. Hey, thank you, David. I appreciate it, and the super thanks, and I hope you did too. If Dimple from Mob Psycho 100 was in Jujutsu Kaisen, what grade curse would he be? And if Hanazawa was there, could he copy curse techniques? So as for the Hanazawa question, that's difficult to answer, but I'll say that if he was given enough time and figured out the truth about curse techniques, which we don't fully understand yet, maybe he could. But as for Dimple, he would definitely be special grade for sure. He's exceptionally powerful, especially by the end of the series, and he would fit right into the Jujutsu Kaisen world with like the top of the power scale. As to where like he wouldn't be grossly overpowered where none of them have a chance of taking them down. Like he would make things interesting for sure. Exit Project says, I watched all of them. Great content, man. Keep up the high quality work. Hey, thank you so much, Exit Project. He's talking about watching my Truth About One Punch Man series. So again, thank you for taking the time to watch all of them, and I hope it at least entertained you. John Carter 8057 asks, hey, I just finished caught up on the end of One Piece anime. Anyway, I can get another anime recommendation, something a little longer so I can get into it. A little longer, you mean like at least 300 episodes, because there's not many series like One Piece, unless you want to get into Detective Conan, which I think has more episodes than One Piece. But aside from that, I suggest watching Bleach. Like the Bleach anime is pretty good, but make sure you go through the filler avoiding guide, like just Google Bleach filler guide or whatever, and then it'll tell you which episodes to watch and which episodes not to. And if you've already watched Bleach, then check out Yu Yu Hakusho. That's incredible. It's not as long. It's only like 100 something episodes, but it's amazing. And then you could always watch Hunter x Hunter too if you haven't watched that yet. K-Don Moss 9444 asks, hey Zhoniin, I'm not a new viewer, but this is the first time I'll be asking you any sort of question. What do you think will happen to Super Ali Darkshine, since you know he got his skin melted off in some places? So I think he's probably going to follow the same trajectory that he does in the webcomic with the new hero stuff. Like him putting on the shirt is going to make more sense in the manga because he's going to be covering up the scars that he's got. And as for those scars, you know, from the wounds that he got from Vomit If You're Ugly, I think he'll be fine. I mean, it'll grow back, or maybe he'll get some augmentation or something from the Hero Association, but I don't think it's going to like stop his hero career or anything. It's more so his mental hang up that's going to cause that. So yeah, he'll just, you know, wear like a shirt or whatever, and maybe even gloves, and then just become like the coach of the Neo Heroes until, you know, he eventually gets back into action. In chapter 5, you can see Saitama scratching his head after that mosquito sucked his blood. In a previous video, you pointed out that he got hurt by a cat. Also, I don't think we've ever seen someone land any kind of sword hit on him. Blunt attacks don't seem to work on him. Do you think swords could? So the mosquito and the cat are more so like gaggy moments. I don't really take them too seriously because I don't really think they matter to the overall series, to be honest. But as for sword attacks working against him, the one that comes to the top of my head is like when Sonic swung his sword at him and Saitama like ate it pretty much. I mean, aside from that, he's also like avoided Sonic trying to stab him with the sword, but I don't think that's because he has to. I think maybe just because it looks cool in the sequence. Like there's no sword that can like cut or pierce Saitama unless it's like some crazy space sword made by God or whatever. But you know, Saitama took a gamma ray burst to like the face. Like I don't think a sword or a blade or anything is gonna really do anything to him. Luke McLean 357 asks, do you think Geto would have been able to beat and surpass Gojo if he was successful in beating Akotu and obtaining Rika? So that's a really good question, actually. That's something that the movie does present us with, but we don't really like consider it because Gojo and Akotsu are just so powerful. But I don't think he would have been, because if he got Rika with cursed spirit manipulation, then, you know, he'd be able to control her and use her. But I still think Gojo, like, actually seriously trying could defeat Rika, right? Because we've never really seen Gojo go 100% yet. So I think like the Gojo that we see in chapter 0 could very likely defeat Rika, right? The only thing that I could see possibly taking Gojo out is if Geto like set up the perfect situation where Gojo couldn't defend himself, and then he like Uzumaki's Rika along with all of the other cursed spirits he has and just blows Gojo away with like a cursed spirit Kamehameha. Mob Safar 2975 asks, hey Zhoniin, love your content, brother. Hey, thank you, Mob. I appreciate the super thanks and the kind words. In the webcomic, where would you place Genos power-wise amongst all the heroes in the final upgrade that Kuseno left for him? So he's really strong at that point. I mean, we haven't seen him in action yet, but considering how strong he was right before that, like taking out the dragon level machine gods, I think right now he's easily in the top 6 of the S-class. It's like him, Flashy Flash, Metal Knight, Drive Knight, Tatsumaki, last, right? Is that 6? I don't know, but he's like in that top tier for sure. Also, do you think Denji can go to his full Chainsaw Devil form at will? So when you say full form, do you mean like when he actually becomes the Chainsaw Devil, like Pochita's real form? I don't think he can do that, but I'm sure eventually he will be able to do something like that, but he retains his personality. Marcus Goforth 2357 asks, been a viewer since the Zhoniin No Cam days, love your content. Hey, thank you, Marcus. Appreciate the long time support and the super thanks, my friend. What do you think the final war matchups in One Piece will be? Really love to see Dragon versus Emu, Garp and Sabo versus Aki Inu. So here are some of my wild card matchups, because I want to go into stuff that's like not completely foreshadowed, but like I think Blackbeard and Luffy team up to defeat Emu. Like the 2Ds coming together to defeat her, and then they fight each other afterwards, and then winner gets the One Piece, I guess. Mad Daddy TV asks, which season 2 do you think will be better based on manga content, between Chainsaw Man or Bleach 1000 Year Blood Wars? So that's a really good question. Both are going to be fire for sure, but if I had to pick one, probably say Chainsaw Man. Like Chainsaw Man season 2 is going to be insane start to finish. Like the International Assassins arc, I think might be the best arc in the series at this point, right? Or it's in the top 2. And I think that's really going to pop Chainsaw Man anime off, if it hasn't already been. Notch Piano 6364 asks, everyone in One Punch Man Gangsta until Saitama late for the 50% off sale. Thanks for the great content. Hey, thank you for the super thanks, Notch. I really appreciate it. N Chang 1026 says, thanks. Hey, thank you, N Chang, for the super thanks. Really appreciate it, my friend. Ryan Cito 2151 says, Merry Christmas, Zhoniin. Thanks for all the amazing content you put out. Also, nice transitions in this vid. Hey, thank you, Ryan. Same to you, my friend. And I actually got an editor for once to do that video, so that's why it looks better. Saitama 000 asks, hey, longtime viewer since 2018. Hey, thank you for the long time support, Saitama. I really appreciate it. What do you think about the Naruto franchise, and have you ever watched the anime or read the manga, and could you list your top 10 favorite characters? So yeah, I did watch Naruto back in the day, like to completion, and I really like it. I think it deserves the praise that it gets. I'll say that my top 5 favorite characters are Madara, Hashirama, Itachi, Sasuke, and Naruto. Saitama-kun asks, what are your thoughts on the Berserk series? It's way darker than the series you cover, but the action sequences and lore put it up there with Chainsaw Man and One Punch Man. Love to see you cover Berserk manga. Anyways, Happy New Year, Zoe. Hey, thank you, Saitama-kun. Same to you. So yeah, Berserk is in like the top 3 series that I want to read in 2023 for sure. Like I want to read all of it and then do a review on the channel, and then hopefully after that cover the manga like as the chapters are released. But I'll have to see like the other series that I'm going to be working with next year and like what exact time I'll be able to do this for Berserk. But it's something that I've wanted to do for a while for sure, and if it's not 2023, it will be at some point. I will definitely review Berserk for sure. Synthetic Shinobi asks, thank you for all the hard work you do. People who aren't content creators may not realize how much time it takes to make videos as well edited as yours. Hey, thank you, Synthetic Shinobi. I really appreciate that. I wouldn't say my videos are well edited, but they're good enough. Please read Fabricant number 100. It only has 4 chapters and is a brand new manga. However, I think it's very promising. So yeah, I've actually been seeing this advertised on Viz and Manga Plus And I read the synopsis after you asked me this, and it does sound very promising, actually. I could very likely see it being a series that's going to stick around. And if it gets popular enough, I'll for sure probably give it a read through. But right now, I'll probably just add it to the list of things I need to get around to. The RJ Siegel says, thanks, Merry Christmas, man. You really make my day-to-day life more fun with your videos, even if I only watch One Punch Man once. Hey, thank you so much, RJ Siegel. Really appreciate the kind words, and I'm really happy that I'm able to give that to you, my friend. Vane Frigus asks, who's your favorite character in Bleach and why? Also, what is your favorite ability / power from Bleach? Thanks. So this is actually a tough question for me. I was thinking, like, who is my favorite character from Bleach? And I don't know if I have like a definitive favorite character. I more so just really enjoy the series and the cast as a whole, but I guess Ichigo, probably my favorite character. I know that's vanilla, but he just works. He's not too much, but he's not enough at the same time. You know what I mean? My favorite ability and power is probably Kyoko Soigetsu from Aizen. Like, that is just such a cool ability. And I think it's like one of the best villain abilities as well. Like, it's just so cool. And also, you know, let's face it, overpowered as well. But man, it just makes up for it being just so cool. So that's it for the video today, guys. Once again, thank you to everyone who gave me a super thanks. And if you guys would like to be in next week's video, again, just check out the super thanks button below this video. And if you liked it, give it a like and have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.